Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Drunken Kobold. Today we have a familiar face on the channel here. Today we are taking a look at the replacement Arveiaturace miniature issued by Wizkids. So a little background, when the original Arveiaturace came to market, Wizkids put out a statement that said that the Arveiaturace that got sent out wasn't fully painted, that it was only partially painted, and that we got a mostly unpainted model. And you'll notice that when I said in my original review that the details of the original Arveiaturace were not as crisp as they could be, that it didn't quite 100% feel complete. You'll also remember that I did say that a common thing that I was noticing among reviews was that the claw was broken on Arveiaturace. So let's take a look at this improved model that Wizkids sent out as a replacement. First, I want to say that in comparison to the original Arveiaturace, which you will be able to see in my video if you click the eye in the top right corner, this is a much better miniature. Its tones better reflect what we know of white dragons in the Icons of the Realms lineup. The details on it are much more pronounced. You can definitely tell that they did their base coats and their washes. And one thing I want to point out is that it came in one piece. I didn't have to glue any of the claws on. So I have to say, I'm quite impressed that, they actually took some of the feedback from reviewers and said, hey, here is a better miniature. Now, what are some of the things that they didn't quite get right with this miniature? Because they did a lot right with it, and this miniature is definitely keeping its 9 out of 10 status that I gave the original Arveiaturace, whereas now the original is now sitting at about a 7 out of 10 for me. But what are some of the things that they could have improved on? Well, compared to the render of the Arveiaturace that is on the box that you can see now, the model doesn't quite match up. Coming back to the model here, you'll notice that up here in the frills around the neck, it just doesn't quite feel complete compared to the rendering we got. There should be a little bit more color there. This doesn't feel like quite a complete miniature. The scales are more pronounced now, but compared to the render, these scales are still very low definition, and I think that that is something that Wizkids could have improved on, especially considering this is their replacement model, not the first time it comes to market model. So overall, I have to say that the improvements that were made to Arveiaturace are noticeable. They are substantial, but they aren't perfect. This is still a great miniature. My players loved the first one, and now that I have a second one to put on the table, why not? Just take Melthrond off one of my Arveiaturace miniatures, or even both of them, and have 2 ancient white dragons to put on the field. I mean, what players are going to want to verse that at low level or even mid level? That is definitely a high level encounter. So yeah, no, I am definitely liking this miniature better. I am not tempted to attempt to repaint this miniature compared to the one that we got before that I ended up rebase coating and washing, but it didn't quite turn out as well as I had hoped. I still have a couple more changes that I want to do to the original to hopefully bring it closer to the render that we got on the box, but I'm not too concerned if I don't succeed on that venture. So yeah, no, this Arveiaturace is definitely closer to what I expected of Arveiaturace and definitely knocks the previous one's grade down. But what do you think? Do you think Wizkids did enough to improve this miniature, or would you have liked to have seen better improvements on this miniature? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you feel I deserved it, please leave a like and consider subscribing today. It means a lot to me when people return to the channel to view my content. And in the meantime, cheers, and may your rolls be with you.